Hey guys, Henry here. Today I'm going to be showing you how Battleground 1983's Blender files work and how you can use them to customize your miniatures and export your custom variants. What we're working from today is a work in progress file. It's not entirely complete, but I hope it'll be indicative of what you can expect from the final product. So, on the right hand side of the screen here, we've got an overview. In it is listed all of the available poses. At the moment, these directly correspond to the poses I've already pre-exported. They're all listed here with grouped by armaments. We've got the AK-74s here, RPKs, Stls, RPG-7, AGS-84, and Tank Crew, if any get added. At the moment, these folders are all empty, but they'll be populated as different stretch goals fill. I'm just copying stuff into this from my actual working file. But anyway, the only pose we've actually got populated today is pose number 1, walking with AK-74. That's what you can see on the screen right now. How this works is these miniatures are modular. They have different separate parts. As you see, I'm selecting here. This yellow highlight is showing you that these are all different objects. So they consist of different parts that can be toggled for customizing your models. So for example, if you look on the right here, you'll see I've got my AK-74 can be with a GP25 grenade launcher or without. And under that we have the two different sculpt types. So at the moment this model is set to 10mm. Because this AK here is a chunky monkey. It's got a thick barrel. Because this miniature is going to be printed, about, well, I say it's 10mm, it's closer to like 12mm in height. If I toggle this off by clicking this eye, it hides it. And if I click the 15mm one, we get one in that looks more realistic, but it's too fragile for use at small scales. On the right side, by the way, anything that is white is currently showing in the workspace. Anything that is grey is hidden. So, the chap we've got in front of us now is configured as a Soviet motor Strelok, and we're going to toggle some bits off him to turn him into an East German, just for funsies. So, if I want to change what model I'm looking at, you'll see there's a versions folder on the right here. At the moment we've got motor Strelok toggled on. I'm going to toggle that off. That hid his collar and the buttons on his jacket, which are specific to the motor Strelok. If I click East German, we'll now see that a collar has appeared, two chest pockets, and some arm pockets too. Another thing we need to toggle is the shoulder boards. I've made a mistake, they were already toggled, sorry. The Soviet motor Strelok should have these square ones, but an East German has these more kind of traditional shoulder tabs. So he's in that configuration. Another thing we need to change is the Soviet Susha 68 helmet. So if I toggle that off and click M56 Stahlhelm, we get our East German. And just double checking, yeah, he is a complete East German. And if I want to export this model, I should click the base, see it's highlighted, press A to select all, File, Export, STL to my desktop, and name this East German Walking 1, something like that. A very important thing to do is make sure that this box here, selection only, is enabled. By default, this won't be on when you first open a Blender file. So click this, and you'll only export what you've selected on the screen. If you didn't click this, Blender would try to export every single 3D asset in the file, and it would take a very long time to do it. I've had to kill Blender in my task manager many times because I've forgotten to click this box. It just freezes up my whole computer. So export STL, and that's exported. There you go. Rather quick. I need to show you how to repair files before using them, but before I get onto that, let's look at some of the other options, shall we? So, we don't just have the ability to make this guy an East German. There are some other things we can do. Let's put him back in the Soviet configuration. Well, some of it anyway. So here he is back to being a Soviet. Let's say I wanted a check. Motor Strelok off. Open collar. Open collar, this sculpt is meant to be a kind of generic Warsaw Pact jacket. It's the same that you would use if you were doing VDV troops or like border troops. You'll see in a lot of pictures there are these Russian uniforms that have these open collars, but if we toggle check, we get an additional collar that's resting on top of that collar. Change the helmet for check M53. This is actually the same as the Soviets World War II helmet. It's just got a longer rim on the back. To be honest, if you were doing 10mm, you probably wouldn't even bother, but I thought some people might want to do these at 28mm. And yeah, that's pretty much a Czech uniform, insofar as I know. Other options we can play with. We can again make him Russian. Put on the Soviet helmet. We might want to give this guy a smock. So down here we've got two-piece smock parts. If I enable that, here's a smock that is up. You'll see he also has a little balaclava. You could do it with a helmet or without. It's designed so that the helmet will fit inside. We can have the smock up like this, or we can have the smock lowered. What's cropping out of the back there? Let's turn the collar off. Sorry, I probably should have had that off. There we go. And, you know, if this is from far away, that looks pretty convincing as a two-piece smock. You might be wondering why I have the stretch goals in here, all sculpted, and yeah, they're stretch goals. Well, the reason why I've got them listed as stretch goals for this project is because for around 70 poses, I'm going to have to go in and position and tweak these to make them fit. So, for example, if you look at the raised hood, I've had to like rotate that, drag it out. I mean, individually, it's not a huge amount of work, but when you're applying it to every single pose, that's why some of the assets I've already sculpted listed as stretch goals. It's just because the time it'll take to apply them to every single pose. I've rigged a few of them up here on this pose just to show them off, essentially. But yeah, so there's our smock. And the last thing I want to show you is perhaps you want to have a bulletproof vest. Here's the 6v4 vest. Now, one problem is you'll see it kind of clips with the webbing. That's why I've got the webbing in its own folder. So you can turn the webbing off, and then you have a Soviet soldier in a 6v4 vest. In addition, if you please look at the stretch goals that are at the bottom of the Kickstarter page, you'll see we've got a whole bunch of other stuff. I've got field caps, berets, other hats. There's some stuff here that's missing, for example, a peaked cap for officers. The stretch goals that I'm promising to implement as Blender assets will end up in this file. And yeah, I guess that's it. The last thing to show is just you can bring in an AK that's not got a grenade launcher on it. But otherwise, yeah, I think I've shown you everything. And so that's it, really. If you're just after Soviet STL files, like in a standard configuration, just buy the basic pack with this Kickstarter. But if you're interested in exporting some custom miniatures, different hats, body armor, camouflage overalls, all that sort of stuff, different Warsaw Pact nations, then I would suggest picking up the Blender files. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you like the project so far. Whoops, I nearly ran away from you there. There's one last thing I need to show you, of course, which is how to repair your exported STLs. I promised to do that while I was talking, and then completely forgot. So, to repair STL files that you've exported, you need to go on the Microsoft Store. This is built into Windows 10. And you need to search for a free program from Microsoft called 3D Builder. There it is. On my PC, it's already installed, so you're going to see something different on your end. Up here, you'll have an install button. So just click that. Downloads, installs very quickly. And then with 3D Builder, you want to open your exported STL, which I'm going to do now.